Ever since the dawn of time, the stars, planets, and mysteries of space have inspired countless myths, stories, and poems. So it seems only fitting that these brilliant points of light are regularly celebrated at grassroots events on a night just like this one. While each star party is different, there is one constant that rings true for them all. The real excitement and adventure start after the lights go out. And as the universe slowly starts to reveal itself, the StarChasers sight in their telescopes and lock onto their targets.
I'm chairman of a star party out here in the boondocks of Kansas where the skies are dark. It's called the Heart of America Star Party, and we have about 120 people here. An astronomy club or an astronomical society is just a collection of people that love astronomy. One of the missions of our club is doing public outreach. We do that in a lot of ways, and of course the biggest one is our observatory in Lewisburg, which is open to the public every Saturday night, and people come in droves, and that's my passion. That's what I love, to see the looks on people's faces as they come out there and see the night sky for the first time, or see the rings of Saturn for the first time. It is so amazing just to get out in the dark countryside where you can see the night sky and all those stars and galaxies and the universe up there. It is the most calming effect that you can ever have. No matter what kind of week I've had at work, no matter how stressful, I can come out into the countryside at night and see the universe, and all my troubles fall away because they're so insignificant in the big scheme of things. It's just an amazing universe, that's all.
In 4th or 5th grade, for Christmas one year I got a JCPenney little refractor telescope. I had that little telescope for many years and used it at home, and kind of lost interest, went to school. Early 1990s I started getting back into astronomy a little bit in my backyard. So happened in 1993 with the Shoemaker-Levy impact on Jupiter. That same year I joined the club. What I like to look at are very deep sky objects. I like looking at galaxies, galaxy groups.
Of course you'll meet lots of veterans of the craft here, but don't be mistaken. It's also a meeting place for the next generation of StarChasers.
Well, I'm not out here tonight to really show off our equipment or anything. We're mostly here to come see what other people have, look through some other scopes, see what these other more experienced people are seeing, see if we can learn from them. Well, since I was a little kid, I've always been fascinated with science. I was always the one who checked out all of the science-y books and space books and stuff like that in our school's library. We went to Powell Observatory when I was pretty young, between the ages of 5 and 10, and I remember seeing Jupiter, and we could see Jupiter's moons, and it was just, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it, but it used to be pictures, You always see these pictures, and you don't really think about somebody took that picture with a camera. I never thought of it as I can go look through this thing that we built and see this that's that far away, that's that big, that's untouched by anybody.
When I was really young, I think I was probably 7 years old, my dad had this dinky little point and shoot telescope, and he pointed it at the moon, which is the first thing that everybody looks at, I think, when they get their hands on the telescope. So I looked into the eyepiece, and there was the moon in its full glory. You could see all the craters. In that moment I was blown away, and I couldn't believe that you could actually see something that was so far away. After that, I got into the astronomy class at my school, which was a really neat experience because you don't really often get a chance to really experience space or use a telescope hands-on. I had the opportunity to do that. So really the astronomy class is what got me into it because it made, the universe accessible, and that was just a really neat thing.
Well, I remember when I was about 8 years old, my dad, he knew the teacher who does the astronomy class at our high school, and he was like, oh, it's going to be really cool, we're going to go see this lunar eclipse. We went there and we looked at the lunar eclipse, and it was really cool to see that. And then the guy also had this telescope point at Saturn, and so it was cool because we got to see like Saturn really up close, blown up. You know, you hear about the rings and stuff, but you look up in the sky and you see Saturn, and you're like, it's just a dot. But in the telescope, you could see, you know, these big thick rings around, and you're just kind of like, whoa. You know, you can just tell from looking at it that that's Saturn and all the rings, and it was, you know, big and bright, and it was just a really cool experience. When I got into high school, I took physics, and physics was taught by the same teacher who did the astronomy class. I looked up on the wall, and he had all these pictures from this lunar eclipse that I had seen, and so I was like, oh, that'd be really cool if I could go do that again. So I took the astronomy class to learn more about it, and it was, you know, just really interesting because I had that history when I was young and got to do it again as the actual high school student instead.
Owning a telescope and being able to just go outside and, oh, well, I have a full moon out tonight. I can go show my family the moon, point out various craters, or I could show them the rings of Saturn or storms on Jupiter. I can just do that. Like, to most people, that's not a real thing. That's not something you think about. You can't just go outside and look at the rings of a planet millions of miles away. I think it was really interesting the first time I really thought about the fact that I'm looking at another entire planet bigger than mine, and I'm just looking at it in my backyard.
Like the generations before them, these young explorers are fueled by a desire to discover. And on this very night, they are about to meet someone that has already walked the path they are just beginning.
This is David. I told you
This
about
is David Levy.
David Levy?
Comet Discoverer.
Hello, glad to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So these guys took an astronomy class at school, and I guess got the bug from that. Their instructors got a you said 18-inch, 25-inch knob. So they've had a chance to look at that. Apparently, a woman's husband, he had the scope, and so they gave it to the school, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I see.
That's really cool.
Well, don't let anything interfere with your interest in nature and in what nature has to teach you, just by looking around.
I agree.
So what are you guys mostly interested in when it comes to astronomy?
I think astrophotography is really, really cool.
Yeah,
I think it's so neat.
People use the great big telescopes, but I use this tiny little guy.
Wow.
I have had this telescope for almost 50 years.
Isn't that crazy?
And have you discovered all your comets using that?
I haven't discovered any comets with this one.
Oh,
But
okay.
I've used it more than any of the others.
Okay.
At star parties, everyday people are brought together by a common bond, a desire to explore the night sky and discover its secrets. In this community of curious onlookers, our place in the universe is put in perspective. In the night sky, we find answers to humanity's questions. In the night sky, we find connections. And in the night sky, we find the passion to become StarChasers.